Good morning to all of you. As you know, we are here once again back with the knowledge sharing series next episode by our experts with Metaversity. Now, today's topic is going to be very, very different, and you are going to get to know a lot many things about education, how it has grown, and the entrepreneurship within the education. So that is something which is the twist in the tail as far as the subject is concerned. As we all know, that today's subject is overseas education and entrepreneurship. We have a fabulous personality with us. In a moment from now, I'm going to introduce him as well. So चलिए शुरुआत करते हैं आज के इस सेशन की, and let me welcome today's expert with immense pleasure. वो अपने बारे में ऐसा लिखते हैं कि on the path of normal education, primary, secondary and higher secondary things of the schooling went or happened in Mumbai, Nairobi, Ahmedabad and back in Mumbai. ये एक ऐसे व्यक्ति हैं जिन्होंने काफी उतार चढ़ाव देखे, और उसके साथ ही when he was 17 he started his work journey or professional journey as a very grassroots level, जो वो बहुत ही in a funny and a lighter note कहते हैं कि I was being tagged as office assistant, which is a a refined word of an office boy. तो वहाँ से उन्होंने अपनी जर्नी शुरू की थी, and during university years, mass promotion era भी उस टाइम पे था, तो डिप्लोमा इन एक्सपोर्ट एंड इंपोर्ट मैनेजमेंट उन्होंने किया, एंड अकाउंटिंग प्रैक्टिसेस में भी उनका महारत हासिल है. इतना ही नहीं, before reaching to the final years of the university, he started working with Hong Kong based firm. So आप समझ सकते हैं कि 17 साल की उम्र में से शुरू करके उनकी जो जर्नी है, प्रोफेशनल जर्नी, वो तभी से शुरू हो गई थी. And something that is very close to his heart, something that is he has made a mission for his rest of the life is international trade that he loves. और आज भी 45 साल के बाद भी वो उसी एक क्षेत्र में अपना योगदान देना उन्होंने कंटिन्यू रखा है. तो चलिए, let us welcome today's expert, श्री जवीन पुष्कर राय ओझा. मैं जवीन जी से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा, आप अभी एक सेकंड में उनको लाइव हमारे साथ देख पाएंगे, और जैसे ही वो हमारे साथ जुड़ते हैं, हम उनके साथ आज का जो डिस्कशन है वो शुरू करते हैं. जवीन जी, आप प्लीज अपना वीडियो शुरू कर दें, so that our team can see, our viewers can see. Let me share with you that जवीन भाई ऑलरेडी हमारे साथ जुड़ चुके हैं, and within a moment from now you'll be able to see him, as you can see him now in the watch party and the live. We welcome you, Mr. Javin Oza, and you might want to unmute yourself and share your views on कि ये overseas education and entrepreneurship, ये जो आज का टॉपिक है, सब्जेक्ट है, what are your views on that, please?
Thank you, Ankit, and good morning to all the viewers and experts at Metaversity. It's a bit of harsh on part of Ankit, I should say lightly, that somebody who has never been a fan of education or anything in her real life is put in front of panel of experts to discuss about education overseas. But like all the challenges in life and all the work that I've done in life, this is also one of the things that I can go ahead with. So basically, I'm very grateful, Ankit. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for allowing me to share my experience with the viewers. Basically, most of my life, working life, I've spent in international trade, but the specialization has always been from Asia to Africa. So my following and observing education in Africa has been quite focused. And over the years, over the few decades, I have seen that how education has grown in some countries in Africa where I have worked, in Mozambique in particular, where I have been based for the last 25 years. So coming first to education in Africa, if you allow.
Please.
It started very early, around 15th century, but basically in tribal and pre-colonial era, pre-colonial area. And this education to general population and youngsters was imparted by elders from within the family and the tribe. So basically, it was like with advice or storytelling, which was prevalent in those days also, and practical training by which they can do the household work and all that. So most of this was, useful for household and daily living exercises. And these things, this kind of work and teaching did not change for most of the next 2-3 centuries. So this was one phase where tribal and pre-colonial education started, which was very basic and informal at home and at family level. Yeah. Then came the 18th century and basically some colonial powers, basically Europeans and French. In Europeans, it was Portuguese, Moroccans, French, and those people actually concentrated on West Africa, East Africa, and the Northern Africa. Okay. Now, education in West and East Africa was, influenced by missionaries who came to Africa to spread the Christianity and all that, whereas North Africa was highly influenced by Islamists. So basically, it was madrasas which gave the education out to the local population. So this is how the education started in the 18th century, and this was more of a somewhat formal education with training and all. But this was never enough for the local population to grow out of their basic life status. It was just meant to be enough for population to understand what the colonial masters want them to do.
Yeah.
So this is how the 18th century education went ahead. And then came the 19th century part in the beginning, where Britishers came, and since there was a very wide divide between North, East and West Africa and all that, these education was not systematic enough in those days. They did not put any system because basically, they came to Africa to colonize the population, basically to reap the benefits of natural resources and what they could make out of the lives of other people, how they could exploit and take some free and cheap labors to their plantations back in their countries. So this was the focus. So the focus of the whatever little system they had was never to allow people to grow. It was just that they can follow whatever they are told to do. So this was the 19th century part, mainly prevailed throughout the 19th century. Only in 20th century, when Britishers came into formal education, they put in some form of education system, and they started the education with focus on primary hygiene and basic vocabulary or capacity building to some extent, and simple mannerisms, etc. But again, here also, if you see, this was mainly to ensure that colonial trusteeship continues for generations to come. This was their idea. The Britishers' idea was there, and basically, this was also on a selective basis, depending on the location, race, religion. So this is how the basic education in whole of the African continent, which is around 54 countries now. So whole of the African continent, the education started in this manner. So this was the education part in the African continent.
Super. So, my dear viewers, we are talking to our today's expert, Mr. Javeen Oza, and how beautifully in the first 12 minutes of our life only, he covered a journey of few hundred years, which has been very categorically shared by Javin sir. And I just like to kind of summarize this in a very simple 2, 3, 4 bullet points that I received just now from him. But before I do that, let me welcome the flow of our viewers. As always, we have Karan Pandya joined in, Hitesh Nalawade joined in, Ina Golani joined in, Shweta Kantaria from our core team wishing us good morning. We have Hemal Nanavati joined in. We have Harsh Trivedi wishing us good morning. We have Niranjan Vader joined in. We have Chetan Kharod joined in. Anand Desai joined in. Our buddy Nishant is already there on the call. And Sulochana Amin is also wishing us a very good morning. So good morning to all of you. And thank you very much for joining in. The last joinee which I can see is Rupali Gautam. So आपका भी बहुत बहुत स्वागत है. Let me just summarize what Javin sir has just shared. That there are 3-4 points as I told you. Number one is that there was always a commanding power who wanted to educate in a manner in which they want them to learn things. So that was something which has happened continuously from 15th to 19th century. If I have gathered this properly in terms of the African countries, that's number one. Number two is that education was been imparted to command rather than make them unable to do something. And there came the Britishers who kind of slightly given a liberal policy where people can actually learn and explore their own future. So that's how the entire thing happened. But having said that, they were also quite choosy in terms of who is to be given what in terms of under the banner of the term education. So ये पूरा जर्नी रहा और अब हम आगे चलते हैं तो ये इतनी चीजें हैं. अगर एक और चीज मैं यहाँ पर मेंशन करना चाहता हूँ, अगर आपने देखा हो तो while Mr. Javin Oza was sharing with us, I could see, and all you also must have been able to see that he was reading out from what he has prepared. Now, this is a quality of an experienced personality. 45 years of experience, and if I just give him the stage right away, he can speak for minimum 2 hours without even thinking on this particular subject. That much of experience he has. Still, to be able to value add in a proper manner, in a focused manner, see how he has prepared. He has written everything and point by point so that the viewers who are giving so much love and blessings should not be left out with vital information. So thank you very much, Javin ji, for coming in so prepared. And I just would like to know, I'm eager to know, and all our viewers are also eager to know, that you are saying 45 years, but I would like to say it must have been a journey of minimum 50 plus years since you have started your own education, right? So how have been your journey, and how you end up, finally settling down in this space? So अपनी life के बारे में कैसी journey रही, कैसे experiences रहे, उसके बारे में थोड़ा हमको बताइए सर.
Thank you, Ankit. First, I'll just answer your observation that I've come prepared with the notes. Idea is that even I tend to forget, what I want to say sometimes. So it's quite important. And also, I don't want to miss out, like you said, on important development that has taken place in a continent which is very unknown to rest of the world.
Rest of the world, yes.
Coming to my life, first 15, 17 years have been very difficult, very, where it was basically, आप लोग मुझे मानने को तोड़ेंगे, it was basically because of my aversion to education in those days. But once, I found a way to start working. From that time until today, I can say that I have not had any regrets, and life has been very smooth because I observed one thing which was not consciously done, but I favor a click or a button called pause. Now, I just want to explain this to you a little bit in detail.
Please,
that if you see a traffic light, there is green and red, but between those two there is amber light. if you see a aircraft, moving back from the gate for departure, and before takeoff there is a stoppage at the end of the runway.
Yes. Yes.
If you see on a athletic fields, between ready, I mean,
Yeah. You're ready, steady,
there's a
and
get set button. There is a get set thing. Yeah. So likewise, आपके all your devices also you will say play, between play and stop there is pause button. I think in my life I have valued this pause button very well. So whatever has come, not wondering or not worrying about what is going to be my situation in facing those problems or opportunities. I have paused a bit, thought about the consequences, how I want to execute this, and then gone ahead to the green light. So this is how basically, life has moved on. I've jumped from businesses to businesses, then opportunity to opportunities. And first 22 years of my working career, I worked for somebody. Like I was employed all the time. Like I mentioned that, insurance, I started as an office boy or office assistant in insurance company. I started with just 400 rupees of part-time, and then went up to reasonable salary for 22 years. So I worked for somebody. Then next 10, 12 years, I worked with somebody, which was that I was as a partner and shareholder. And last 7 to 9 years, I've been totally on my own, and now handing over the entire platform to my son, who is going to be working from India. So here also, it has been like a very smooth journey. When I was working with somebody, working for somebody, I had to make sure that I deliver what I'm getting paid for. I cannot boast of very big achievements or what I've done and all that, because I was getting paid for what I was doing. So, okay, during that journey, there were few things that were quite important and like milestone, but I would not like to boast about it on that sense. When I was working with somebody as a partner and shareholder, yes, there were a lot of developments which I took place, and this getting into education in Mozambique is one of them, where I saw that, Mozambique being one of the poorest countries, they were depending, and 60% of its budget was coming only from the foreign aid and grants. So those who were giving that donation and aids and grants wanted to take back much more than what they were giving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So basically, I just give you an example, small example. One textbook of 120 pages in 4-color printing was being supplied to the ministry for $3.
Okay.
When I came into this business of education. And later on now, after 9 or 10 years, we are giving the same book, same quality, same everything for around 70 cents.
Oh my God.
So you can imagine what type of exploitation was being done by people who were giving foreign aid to the country. So basically education, I came into education during the time I worked with somebody. And now that, I have come at a stage where family wants me to slow down basically.
Yes.
So what I've decided, I've shortlisted few activities that I can keep on doing when I want, how I want, what I want, and where I want.
Super.
These are it. So this has been my working life basically. So it's like, okay, there are industry-wise, I can say I've jumped from, I was trained in Japan for audio and video tape assembly plant. I set up India's first manufacturing of VHS video cassettes.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. Then obviously my basic training was import-export management. So I developed a lot of products out of India for West Africa market. And gradually it has kept on evolving. Whatever comes, I never say no. And when somebody like you would like to know what I've done in my life, I would just ask you to look around yourself 360 degrees whatever you observe, I've handled those things.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So this is basically the short thing about my life. Yeah.
Absolutely. So there are sometimes what happens is that take it all the viewers take it in a positive manner, that sometimes you need an entire battalion to kind of get rid of something, and sometimes you just need a pinch of cyanide, and the other side would be vanished completely. Similarly, ये जो कह रहे हैं जविन सर की short, but it was not so short. It is a lot of depth and lot of learning points. उनको मैं अभी आप सबके साथ शेयर करूंगा कि जविन सर ने अपनी जो लाइफ स्टोरी शेयर की है उसमें से हमें क्या क्या चीजें सीखने को मिल रही है. पर let me tell you, sir, that this particular live sessions are becoming so popular that यहीं पर मुझे जो लोग जुड़े हैं उनको एक्नॉलेज करना पड़ेगा, otherwise I might miss on to some people. And so I would like to start with the latest one. So केतन मजमूदार जुड़े हैं, हीरा शेलत हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं, संकेत कोठारी जुड़े हैं, स्नेहल शाह जुड़े हैं, दैवत मांकड़ जुड़े हैं, happens to be our common relative जबिन भाई, आनंद देसाई जुड़े हैं, ज्वलंत राणा, my childhood friend has joined in, Karan Pandya has joined in, दिव्येश बचराजानी has joined in, so on and so forth. काफी सारे लोग हमारे साथ जुड़ रहे हैं. तो हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं आज के हमारे एक्सपर्ट श्री जवीन ओझा से, और उनके साथ हम बात कर रहे हैं ऑन द टॉपिक ऑफ ओवरसीज एजुकेशन एंड एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप. एंड वी वेर एट द पॉइंट वेयर ही वाज शेयरिंग हिज लाइफ जर्नी. So let me give you 5 points that I learned from his life today. Number 1 point is that how you kind of, मैं जो मेरे दिल के करीब एक सेंटेंस है बहुत, जवीन सर, ओवर द इयर्स मुझे भी पावर फ्रेजेस लिखने का शौक है. तो एक पावर फ्रेज जो मैंने लिखा है वो आपकी लाइफ स्टोरी से बहुत मैच करता है, जो यहाँ मैं लोगों के साथ शेयर करना चाहता हूँ. That there is a huge difference. There is a huge difference between doing things and doing things consciously. तो ये जो इन्होंने सबसे पहले हमको अच्छे से 2-3 एनालॉजी देके समझाया कि there is a pause button always in between play and stop. तो आप उसको कितना कॉन्शियसली, कितना अलर्ट होके फोकस मैनर में लेते हो. You must jump, but while you are jumping also you need to create enough of inertia so that you jump to the tune where and how you should be jumping in. That was a great thing that he has been always doing and practicing, that he gives equal importance and value to the pause button. That was the first learning that he got. Number 2, what I learned is that for everybody to become or make a mark to the history or make a mark in the globe, there is a journey. And आज तक मैंने किसी को इतने क्लैरिटी से और रिफाइंड मैनर में अपने जर्नी को डिफाइन करते हुए नहीं देखा है, सर. सो माय कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स टू यू. The second thing what he said, अगर आप सबको देखोगे तो यही लाइफ उनकी रही होगी, that first of all you start working for someone. You start working for someone, then you graduate and you start working with someone, and then you finally make people work with you and for you. So this is the proper graph which any one of us, knowingly or unknowingly, reach and travel to reach to something where we call I am near or reach to my destination. That was the second biggest learning that I learned. There are quite a few things that I have learned. मुझे ये लग रहा है कि मैं उन्होंने जो बोला वो सब रिपीट करूं, पर फिर भी मैं यहाँ पर कुछ एक पॉइंट से रिपीट करूंगा, जैसे की the humbleness or keeping yourself on the ground. That is the third thing that we must learn. And how beautifully he said that there are very many points that is value added to the people's life for whom I was working, with whom I was working. But I don't want to boast about it only because I was being paid for it. तो हमारे यहाँ का अभी का जो ट्रेंड है, हम लोगों ने जो एप्रिशिएशन पे हवा बना के रखा है, रिकग्निशन को एक हवा बना के रखा है. Just imagine that if we have a dream employee or dream partner like Javin ji, who understands that whatever you do, you are being paid for, you are being remunerated. So that arrogance or positional arrogance should not hit your mind. That would keep you grounded. तो ये एक चीज बहुत अच्छी हमने सीखी. And last but not the least is that He was prepared to do whatever comes in his way. That's why he can proudly say that you look around 360 degree around you and whatever you see, I have done that. VHS कैसेट्स का सबसे पहला प्लांट इंडिया का श्री जवीन ओझा ने शुरू किया होगा, किया था. This is gonna be a news to our viewers. Not very many people know this. So you can understand that how deep rooted in entrepreneurship which is there in his blood. And मैं एक चीज और यहाँ पर बताना चाहता हूँ कि उनकी करियर की जो शुरुआत हुई थी, where he started as an office boy or office assistant, that too in an insurance company. Let me tell you out here that I have been fortunate enough to know his father as well, Mr. Pushkar Oza, who happens to be considered to be one of the authority globally into insurance. और उनके बेटे की शुरुआत करना as an office boy in the same industry it requires a lot of guts, you know. It requires a hell lot of guts because P. Oza was the name which was not unknown to almost everybody. सब लोग जानते थे और वहां पर जाके कहना कि मैं उनका बेटा हूँ और ऑफिस बॉय हूँ इस इंडस्ट्री में, उसी इंडस्ट्री में जहां पर वो शिखर पर बैठे. तो दिस requires a lot of guts. अगर आप में वो नहीं है, you need to acquire those guts to reach to the top, to start from the step one. तो ये कुछ चीजें हैं जो हमने सीखी और उन्होंने खुद मेहनत करके 45-50 साल में ऐसा लेवल क्रिएट किया कि जहां पर वो जब चाहे, जो चाहे, जैसे चाहे वैसे कर सके. So this is a fabulous achievement, Javin ji, and all our viewers are also enjoying this. और यहाँ पर फिर से एक पूरी लिस्ट बन गई है, तो मैं 2-4 लोगों के जो जुड़े हैं उनके नाम लेना चाहता हूँ. अभय अंजारिया जो है, he is saying that he is proud of you, and Nikita, my wife, has joined in. Dipti Booch has joined in. Ketan Majmudar has joined in. तो ये सारे लोग जुड़ चुके हैं हमारे साथ. एंड हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं आज के हमारे एक्सपर्ट जवीन पी ओझा के साथ और बात कर रहे हैं हम ओवरसीज एजुकेशन एंड एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप के बारे में. बेसिकली अफ्रीकन कंट्रीज और मोजाम्बिक, उसके ऊपर हमारा थोड़ा बहुत फोकस रहने वाला है. बट आपके लिए ढेर सारी लर्निंग ऑन अ ग्लोबल प्लेटफॉर्म आपको मिलने वाली है. ये मेरा दावा भी है और वादा भी है. तो एक और चीज मैं आप सब लोगों को बताना चाहता हूं कि ये जो पूरा सेशन है वो जूम से हम स्ट्रीम कर रहे हैं. तो इट इज गोइंग टू बी रिकॉर्डेड एंड बीन सीन इन सितंबर ऑन मेटावर्सिटी यूट्यूब चैनल एज वेल एंड जवीन सर के यूट्यूब चैनल पे भी. और आप लोगों को मैं ये भी बता दूं कि वॉच पार्टी शुरू है, आप यहाँ पर ये सेशन खत्म होने के बाद भी देख सकते हो. एंड विद दैट लेट्स गो टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन टू जवीन सर. जवीन सर, आपसे बात करते करते वी आर ऑलमोस्ट हाफ द वे, 9:30 हो गए हैं. कब हो गया पता ही नहीं चला. एंड पीपल आर कमेंटिंग नाउ. सो जैसे अभय जी ने अभी आपको कॉम्प्लीमेंट किया कि प्राउड ऑफ यू, उसी तरीके से श्वेता कंटारिया लिख रहे हैं, वाओ वंडरफुल जर्नी जवीन सर. देयर आर मेनी लर्निंग वी आर गेटिंग फ्रॉम योर जर्नी ऑफ लाइफ. सो थैंक यू वेरी मच श्वेता. पार्थ मेहता हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं. और अब यहाँ पर मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहता हूँ सर कि ओवरऑल जो आपकी जर्नी है उसमें what were apart from this educational entrepreneurship, ये तो आप कर ही रहे हो, and I know that till the last breath of your life you're not gonna leave it. I can see that passion in your eyes when you speak about that. Apart from that, which were the businesses during your journey, or what were the activities during your journey that has attracted you the most?
Ankit, first of all, you mentioned about my YouTube channel. I think I'll get that encouragement only from now on after this session. I don't have any YouTube channel, just to keep you informed. During my journey, I mean the work life that I have basically focused on three things, I should say. One is, like, I was trained for manufacturing. So like I said, I did the video cassette manufacturing. I set up export-oriented units, and then I also handled for 2 years one plastic processing plant, which was again for exports and all that. So that manufacturing was one part. The second part was sourcing products and services, and including also raw material for African market. And these were the basic things, because even today most of the African countries need almost everything. not much manufacturing is going on there. They have raw material, they have resources, but most of it is being taken out, and other countries are supplying them with finished product. एक छोटा एग्जांपल आपको दूंगा कि I had gone to a field, छोटा सा झोपड़ा जैसा था गांव में, मोजाम्बिक में, और उसके आसपास वो बंदा कॉर्न का प्लांटेशन कर रहा था, मकाई उगा रहा था। तो ऑब्वियसली वी वुड फील कि वो मकाई, उसको उन लोग का स्टेपल फूड है कॉर्नफ्लावर, तो ऑब्वियसली ही वाज पॉसिबली ट्रीटिंग इट लाइक अ होम गार्डन। While I was sitting there with them, I saw one person coming on a motorbike and take the whole sack of corn this guy had grown and gone away. So I told him, why are you selling it to him when your food is corn flour? He says, we don't have any facility to change it into flour or do the milling and all that. So क्या होता था कि वो कॉर्न उसने बेच दिया, कॉर्न गई सिटी में, सिटी से गई नेबरिंग कंट्री साउथ अफ्रीका में, वहाँ मिल में सप्लाई हो गया, उन्होंने फ्लावर बनाया, वो पैक किया, और वो पैक ये बंदा गांव में जाके खरीद के अपना कॉर्नफ्लावर फूड बनाता था। तो ये सब चीज़ें जब देखी मैंने, तो आई थॉट दैट एग्रीकल्चर इक्विपमेंट्स, यू नो, सीड्स है, फर्टिलाइजर्स है, these are the things also. So basically everything that Mozambique needed, I started focusing on that. But I kept in mind in what areas I have strong sources and connections in Asia. Because I cannot just accept, okay, आपको ये चाहिए मैं आपको दे दूंगा, नहीं. So basically this was important thing to keep in mind, and based on what my database was, I started offering products to them. So एक ये था manufacturing, then finished product, imports and distribution, and then I came into the line of paper.
Okay.
Paper printing, publishing. Now
Yes.
it's interesting. You also would probably know that our families were on two things: insurance and paper. Paper because my grandfather, Shri Uchrang Rai Oza,
Yes.
was a very well-known journalist in his days, and also an author. Yeah. So my father had a small press in Bombay before he came into Navy and Ministry and LIC and all that. My uncle used to work for Nepa Mills, one of the uncles. Another uncle was expert at this technology, mechanical engineering and technology, and he was advisor to one of the biggest paper consultants in Canada.
Oh, okay.
So it was unknowingly I ventured into paper, but then when I reflected back, I realized that it was only natural that I had to come in this line. And I saw the opportunity in Mozambique way back in 98 when the printing industry was almost shut down. There was no upgradation, there was no material available. And Portuguese suppliers used to actually take deposit and not supply for 6 months, 7 months, the paper raw material. And this is where I took a chance, got into about 20 tons of assorted paper grade, brought it, supplied to the printing companies, and even today I continue to do that service in Mozambique, then in Mauritius and other neighboring countries. And I can, here I would like to boast a little bit and say that the printing and publishing industry's revival in Mozambique has mainly been due to availability of resources, raw material, then upgraded technology, some equipments they needed for finishing and all that, and which is where I played a significant role in supplying them and all that, and even continue to do that today. So paper trading has been my main forte in last 23, 24 years. And then I saw opportunity that the capacities in Mozambique are small for printing and all that. And governments and banks and corporates were always struggling with high volume printing.
Yes.
So I started going to them and started marketing printing facilities of other countries where I have connections, and told them that if you want, I can supply you the printed matter. And this is where, I scored a bit, because my printing cost, even after all the expensing and supplying them in Mozambique, was much, much cheaper than what they could have produced. So this printing outsourcing went on from a small commercial level to government tenders also.
Oh,
So this is what I've been doing as far as printing is concerned. And then I dabbled into publishing also. Got Portuguese titles authored by Portuguese teachers as per their syllabus and curriculum, and scored fairly good score what is required as a publisher. But I did not pursue that line. And the last one was the stationery items. I have trained myself to manufacture and convert paper into whatever product is required. Again, there also I have taken the production training and everything in China and Indonesia. And I've been able to focus on school stationery, basically exercise books and textbooks and all corporate stationery like diaries and year-end things and stationery. So stationery has been also one of the main. So today I am left with printing and writing paper and packaging boards and stationery for supply to the industry in Mozambique. So this has been 3-4 activities that I've been doing for last so many years.
super, super. So, my dear viewers, we are talking to Shri Javin Oza on the subject of overseas education and entrepreneurship. और अब काफी संख्या में हमारे साथ लोग जुड़े हैं. हर्ष त्रिवेदी कह रहे हैं कि wonderful journey, Javin sir, and great thoughts and pleasure hearing you. Vast experience. રસનીની છાયા हमको વિશ कर रहे हैं, એમને અભિનંદન પાઠવ્યા છે અને જય હાટકેશ એવું પણ કીધું છે. તો રસનીભાઈ, જય હાટકેશ from our end also. And now is the time when I'm going to ask you the core question about today's subject. Let's say for example India, because see, I tell you sir, our viewership is mainly segmented into 3 areas. Number 1 are the people who really want to learn something from these lives, and they are regular visitors whenever we start live. So that is one, which is in general people. Second is our core team and some of the best of the facilitators of India who joins in and watch, who are into training and education space. And third is the people who really want to know something in terms of entrepreneurship. So I think we have the best befitting audience. और यहाँ पर मैं आपको जो कोर क्वेश्चन है वो पूछना चाहता हूँ कि एज एन इंडियन, अगर हम अफ्रीका में या तो इन स्पेसिफिक मोजाम्बिक में या नेबरिंग कंट्रीज में अगर हम एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप इन टर्म्स ऑफ एजुकेशन वेंचर करना चाहें, तो what are the possibilities and what are your suggestions as to how and what can be explored? Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ankit. But before I answer your question, I would like to welcome some of my friends.
Please,
and
sir.
Family people. Abhay Anjaria, Rasnidhi Chaya, Manoj Soni, Harsh Trivedi. All these are people who are somehow connected to us and relatives and friends. And I appreciate their comments and coming. And also at the same time, I would like to say thank you to all your contacts and all the viewers who have been so far, listening to me.
Yes.
They have to listen patiently because I don't think they can stop me anyway. But I have to thank them anyway. So this is the thing. Now coming to your question about entrepreneurship. This is where, I have a small note which would possibly give you some idea. Now, Mozambique, coming to Mozambique, Mozambique has some factors which are hampering growth of education there. Okay, these are basically language or cultural barriers. Language, because Mozambique's official language, national language is Portuguese.
Okay.
So, unless you are, keen learner of foreign languages, and if you are able to learn Portuguese, then it would be the first half the battle kind of thing. Yeah. Then they have lack of teaching staff.
Okay.
Not only in Portuguese, but even in schools where there are English medium. There are few schools in English medium and all that. Then they have problem of children, not having sufficient sanitation, potable water, and which means there are child and infant mortality, so not many children get to continue the education. Malaria is a very prevalent disease there. Ebola also affected to some extent. So these are the things. And then coming to the government side, governments are stable in many of these countries nowadays, but their will to actually utilize their resources or funds available for benefit of people is not adequate. So these are the factors which have stopped or halted the growth of education in Mozambique. Now, where the opportunities exist, in my mind, for people who want to be entrepreneur and enter into these kind of areas, market.
Yes.
Educational institutions are required, which means you can set up career-oriented courses, capacity building training. Then you can go in for basically corporate kind of training, how they can actually learn to make a living if they want to drop out of after the school. Because from grade 12, let's say about 3,000 students pass out after great difficulty, and the seats available to go further are only about 3,000, whereas students who pass out are about 17,500 to 18,000. So this is where you can have a tie-up with some universities in India, because Indian education is one of the best, as I understand. So those those universities, can have a sort of offshore center, coaching centers. Then there are IT-related courses which can be given. Now Mozambique is coming into huge reserves of gas. So much so that in next 7 to 8 years, if everything goes well, it can be number 2 after Qatar or Russia. So much of reserves are there. So much of investment is coming, billions of dollars. I'm talking about project of 37 to 38 billions dollars. And 1/3 of that investment is coming from India, luckily. So this is where, the petroleum and gas industry or infrastructure development industry will need people who can work on those things. So basic training of what we used to have, I think we still have ITIs here. Right?
Yes.
ITI. So those kind of trainings are required, basically, and those things can be done. Then comes the actual schools or classrooms. There is a lack of infrastructure for schools, classrooms. As of today, we need about 10,000 classrooms in Mozambique. And 10,000 classroom means you need to arrange classroom for 25-30 pupils. You need blackboards, you need benches, you need all the equipment that are required, teaching aids are required. So these are the things. Then we need basic stationeries like exercise books and paper and stationery, school kits, with notebooks and bags and things like that. Now, these are the things which I have been working on with organizations like UNICEF, World Bank, then also some of the NGOs who are in education field there, as well as some donor countries from Europe, who give fund to a particular education institution to equip themselves fully to receive students. So these are the things that are required. And then comes the corporate side, which is, I think, forte of all your elite educators and members. This is one very important thing, because now as the industries will come into being, more and more industries will grow. Banking sector is growing, financially country is doing very well, and economically it's one of the fastest growing economy in African continent. Although it has started with a very low base of no growth. but consistently over last 12 to 15 years, it has grown at the rate of 6% plus. So basically, this is where the opportunity is. Now, banking, I know people in the banking circles have been asking me that we want motivational courses, we want training, basically. It's so surprising that initially when international letters of credit and all that wanted, I had to tell the bank from my experience how it should be drafted, because local staff is not trained enough. So these are the areas where training from institute like yours or university like yours can come in. Starting the journey there is not very difficult. Although here I must caution one thing. Africa is not for faint-hearted.
Okay. Can you repeat that? This was awesome.
Yeah, African continent is not for faint-hearted. For a simple reason that we are so used to comfort zone of our own surrounding. Okay. Today, Africa, people understand there's only one country. They don't know there are 54 countries. Okay. And basically, I've met so many people who would say, my cousin is also in Africa. I said, where in Africa? He said, no, Africa. Then I said, do you know the city or somewhere? They will say, yes, they are in Lagos. Must be very close to you. Now, Lagos is 7 hours flight from my place, So I have to explain to them that these are. So Africa is not for faint-hearted for simple reason that education, higher education is not there, not adequate enough for foreign students or expats. Healthcare systems are developing. So if there is some problem, which is a major health issue, you have to come out of Africa, come back to India, get treated and go back. And it's cheaper, trust me. If 15 days of hospitalization in Africa and you come to India and solve it in 15 days and go back, you are still not spending more than African medical expenses.
Oh, okay.
This is one thing. Then there are no, free, pastime activities, not everywhere. Mozambique has colorful country in every sense, I should say, and it's a beautiful country, one of the most beautiful countries that I have ever lived in my life. Now, this is where, you have to moderate your lifestyle, family lifestyle in such a way that you form your groups, you get into some activity with other families and keep busy outside work. There is no stress of work. There are no working hours beyond 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. And commuting is nothing. It takes me 3 minutes to drive to my office and back. So these are the distances are not there. But one thing I can assure you, quality of life, excellent, natural, everything is natural, fruits, vegetables, grains, zero pollution, okay? And people, most important asset of Africa, to my mind, is the people, population. They are so mild and so disciplined and polite that I should not be advising people here, but Indians can learn many things from them.
Kya baat?
Yeah, how to conduct. And when you say that people from your group or this group of experts want to do something in African countries, we have a platform there. One of the activities I had started was Indian Business Council, 20 years back. And I was a founder of that council. And for 13 years at a stretch, I was president of that council before I shifted to Mauritius, Indonesia and other places. Now, this council I set up only with the sole purpose of facilitating friends and investors and business people to come and do the business in right way, with the right product and with the right. And because I have been working with Education Ministry for government tenders, supplies and all that, facilitating an educator to come and do something in education sector will be quite easy and profitable. Because education, although Mozambique is poorest country, one of the poorest countries on the continent, but the willingness to learn, willingness to imbibe education and new learning is great, and it's growing. So this is what my answer would be to you.
Super, super. So let me tell you, Javin sir, that you took us to almost like a mental tour, and we felt like we were there, and we could see all the constituents as to what are the things. So quite an in-depth explanation of what can be done when you really want to explore the entrepreneurship in that part of the world. And let me tell you that people are also writing the same. Chinmay Buch is writing that nicely elaborated what is and what can be done. Very interesting and inspiring. Nishant is once again saying very in-depth information. Thank you so much, Javin bhai. I think Vande Tanjaria happens to be your relative. It seems so. The moment the way
University.
okay. Okay. So I think probably I also know this guy. We had connections back in Vidyanagar, Vallabh Vidyanagar. Because so Vandit, thank you very much for joining in, and he's also saying that the traffic sense is also beautiful in Mozambique. That's what he says, and so everybody is appreciating this. Krutarth Bora, Amit Buch, so on and so forth. Now, friends, we are almost left with last 5, 7, 10 minutes. This session was so interesting that we just went with the flow, and there was a plethora of information, qualified information, experienced person speaking from his own mouth. It has been a wonderful journey, Javin bhai. I must compliment you for the kind of willingness to share and willingness to help you have shown today. अब quickly हम लोग जो 2-3 points है उस पे बात कर लेते हैं. मैं एक साथ ही आपको बता देता हूँ so that you can include that in your answers. Number one, I would like to know is that how have been your experience with Metaversity? That's number one. Number two, what are your plans of coming on live on our platform? Because let me inform all the viewers that Javin sir would be conducting more of a live programs on our platform, which is also available. So यहाँ पे sir, with your gracious permission, मैं भी थोड़ा boast कर लेता हूँ कि Metaversity के platform पे न सिर्फ self paced but live programs भी हो सकते हैं. So all of you are most welcome. So उस विषय में थोड़ा बताइए that how have been your experience, what you see as the future for Metaversity, and what kind of programs that you would be bringing in. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ankit. I was almost expecting you to ask me कि आपको like Kapil Sharma कि आपको ये show पे आके कैसा लगा.
No.
But I'm very much happy and I'm really pleased to be on the platform here. My experience with Metaversity has been very short so far, because after I joined and I've been following some of the other experts talking about knowledge sharing and all that, and it has been excellent. Much more can be done, I'm sure, and I'm willing to join the live platform, and live platform I had few subjects in mind, because one thing is that because you have such a elite panel of educators and faculty of educators, my becoming an educator will not be something that I want to be. It's like teaching people to take first step, second step, whereas all your elite educators are, astronaut level qualified and experts, So I would rather stick to programs like this, where if given opportunity, I would like to share some subjects which I really want to take up. There is a talk of, world going paperless.
Yes. The carbon footprints and all those stuff.
Yeah, I actually, sort of not a fan of this concept, because paper is my bread and butter anyway. But more than that, I truly believe that paper cannot go out of existence. Only in Western countries and corporate level, yes, there might be some marginal difference. But with 40 or 45 of the 54 African countries to grow, Middle East and Asian countries still under development after the war scenario, and some of the poor Asian countries also growing. There is no way paper can go out of it. So paperless office, whether it's true or not, on that subject I would like to somehow share my experience someday.
Okay.
Then also this work from home.
Yeah.
Here, I personally have kept in mind one thing, that unless you get up in the morning and you are ready for 9 to 5 working schedule, disciplined working schedule, you have to get up in the morning, get ready, go to office and look forward to doing something sitting there. Work from home to me is not something that will last long. I may be wrong, but I wish I'm not wrong. So this is one thing. And then there are some important trade-related things, if people are interested, that is, because on your platform, it's something totally different from your vision, basically. So yes, I can share my take on what is happening around India and the world in terms of globalization, global going vocal by Modi ji's announcement recently.
Yeah.
What can be done to do that, and the regional or WTO global trade policies, how they are becoming ineffective, according to me, in my experience. So these are some of the topics that I would like to really share as and when people want to listen to me on this, and as and when time permits to you.
Super. So Javin sir, सबसे पहले तो मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ कि we have an entire segment wherein we will be putting up the programs of entrepreneurship and how one can become self-employed and venture into these areas and can actually complete the journey as you did, that starting from working for somebody, then working with somebody, and then working for themselves. So there will be a specific segment, and as I can read, the viewers and our learners then would not be allowing you to stay away from our platform for a longer period with the kind of comments that we are receiving out here. And there is a Dhairya Oza who joined in, and she's saying that glad to see people talking interest, and this is a good opportunity for people to know that Africa is not just about jungle, right? So so thank you Dhairya for such beautiful words. Rima Shah हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं. We are about to end this live actually, पर अभी भी जो लोग जुड़े हैं उनसे मैं कहना चाहता हूँ कि after this as well, you can definitely see the entire live session on our watch parties. You can share it on your own timeline. और आज का जो session है वो इतना informative रहा है that let me tell you that once you will start, as Javin sir has rightly said, once you will click, you will not be willing to stop until it ends by itself. So thank you so very much to all the viewers for pouring in your wishes and pouring in your gratitude towards whatever we are doing. And we are also equally happy and thankful to all of you for supporting us. And I would like to thank Javin sir for sparing his valuable time to share these insights, which is totally a new thing in the journey of our live session today. And I'm sure everybody must have felt that. Sulochana ji likh rahi hai from Mumbai that your reach experience itself is a huge inspiration and a learning for all of us. So there is, if you really want to learn, there is enough opportunity from people who are experts and experienced like Javin sir to learn things. So Javin sir, जाते जाते मैं definitely आपको यही कहना चाहूँगा, and here I want to become the family person. He is one guy who has seen me growing. I mean, he is one family member. और मैंने अभी तक नहीं बोला था, let me reveal with my audience that he happens to be my uncle, and he has seen me growing, in my growing years. उसके बाद then he was on his own journey, and when we are meeting together by the grace of God, I feel that I'm so proud that we have connections like this. and I think his feelings also would be the same. So thank you very much, and few last words from you, Javin sir, for our audience, and then we'll kind of end this live. उन जविन सर को मैं लास्टली इनवाइट करूं उससे पहले आई जस्ट वुड लाइक टू टेल ईच एंड एवरीबॉडी आउट हियर दैट टुमारो आल्सो, जैसे कि जविन सर ने बोला कि अगर आपको मोजाम्बिक में बिजनेस करना है तो आपको पोर्चुगीज आना जरूरी है, यू शुड बी अ लर्नर फॉर ऑफ पोर्चुगीज. सिमिलरली लैंग्वेज लर्निंग इन एनी सेंस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. तो कल हमारे साथ ऐसी ही एक एक्सपर्ट जुड़ने वाली हैं, ध्वनि बुच. उनके बारे में मैं कल ज्यादा बात करूंगा. पर अभी सर, टू एंड द सेशन, आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट यू टू काइंड ऑफ sign off with gracious words from you. Over to you, sir.
Ankit, first of all, thanks to your viewers about wonderful comments they've given and questions they've asked. And I must also welcome Dhairya ji because she's my wife and she's going to know. Yeah. And coming to the closing remarks, I would say, not advice or words. Closing remarks would be that don't wait. Don't wait. If you have something in mind, just go after it. And one thing in life you have to remember, try avoiding to step on anybody's foot in life. Knowingly or unknowingly, when you get into entrepreneurship or business or something, you might have to be very careful to avoid this situation, because you don't know when it can come back. And it's really important that you try to keep your profile and your character as much ethical in business as possible. I have tried my best, and so far, touch wood, it has been good. The journey has been excellent. So thank you, Ankit, once again, and I appreciate giving me opportunity, and I wish someday I can come back again and talk about other things in Africa, because there are so many things one can talk about. Yeah. Thank you so much.